From world events to Washington and New York City, here's your concise world update for Tuesday, January 13th. Protests continued across multiple Iranian cities into Monday night, with new videos showing crowds chanting in the streets and fresh images by morning of burned buildings, underscoring public anger over government repression and a deepening economic crisis. On Monday, Trump warned that countries doing business with Iran would face a 25% tariff amid Tehran's crackdown. Venezuela's government said on Monday that it has released 116 prisoners so far under a process announced last week. But opposition groups and rights organizations reported far lower numbers as families of detainees waited anxiously outside prisons. The United States on Monday accused Russia of a dangerous and inexplicable escalation of its nearly 4-year war in Ukraine, warning that Moscow is intensifying attacks even as the Trump administration seeks to advance negotiations toward a peace deal. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced that Australia will observe a national day of mourning for the victims of the Bondi terror attack on January 22nd. A man accused of setting fire to a Mississippi synagogue told investigators he targeted the building because it is a Jewish house of worship, and later confessed to his father, who alerted authorities after noticing burn marks on his son's body. Minnesota and Illinois filed lawsuits on Monday against the Trump administration, seeking to block a surge of federal immigration enforcement officers deployed to their states following the fatal shooting of a Minnesota woman by an ICE officer last week. The State Department said Monday it has revoked more than 100,000 visas since Donald Trump returned to office last year, calling it a record as the administration intensifies its hardline immigration crackdown. A settlement exceeding $182 million has been reached with victims of a deadly 2015 crash involving a commuter train and an SUV at a suburban New York railroad crossing. Jack Smith is set to testify publicly before the House Judiciary Committee on January 22nd. With the 2026 midterm elections approaching, progressive stalwart Elizabeth Warren is urging Democrats to break with wealthy donors and refocus on working-class voters if they hope to reclaim majorities in Congress. A veteran federal prosecutor, Robert McBride, recently appointed as the second highest-ranking official in the Eastern District of Virginia, was abruptly dismissed amid turmoil. Trump says MAGA has no room for anti-Semites.
I think we don't need them. I think we don't like them.
New York City Council employee was detained by federal immigration authorities during a court appointment on Long Island. Mayor Zoran Mamdani said he was outraged by the detention, calling it an assault on our democracy, on our city, and our values. Nearly 15,000 nurses walked off the job at hospitals across Manhattan and the Bronx on Monday morning after contract negotiations with hospital management broke down over the weekend. Former New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced the launch of a digital currency called NYC Token. The coin would help combat anti-Semitism and what he described as a growing wave of anti-Americanism across the country. Governor Kathy Hochul is set to unveil a sweeping effort to curb auto insurance fraud as part of her annual State of the State address on Tuesday, aiming to ease rising costs for New York drivers. With greater access to kosher food, more mikvahs, more synagogues, and less anti-Semitism, Jewish life in Hungary has improved greatly in just 5 years. The S&P 500 and Dow closed at record highs as technology stocks and Walmart rallied, with investors shrugging off concerns about the U.S. Justice Department's probe into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Trump's new housing strategy focuses on boosting homebuyer purchasing power and pushing mortgage rates lower. From the Middle East to Wall Street, you're up to date.